JavaScript creates platforms that can engage a user and ensure that they remember a site and continue to revisit it. It can be used to create games, APIs, scrolling abilities, and much more. I'll show you a couple of examples of some JavaScript being used in order to bring a website to life and provide an amazing user experience. The first website that I'd like to share with you is Here Is Today. Here Is Today is a website that was created by Luke Twyman, and what the website does is it allows you to zoom in on time, and it's created using JavaScript. So as you continue to click on the little arrow, you can see that it lets you know how today lines up with these various places in history. So here we're at the millennium, here's this epoch, here's this period, and you can see quite quickly today just gets engulfed into nothingness, as do the millenniums, the epochs, and everything else. It's kind of fun to play with it though and see how this particular developer used some JavaScript just to add interactivity. The next site I want to look at with you is Crimetimeio, and this is a website that utilizes jQuery and JavaScript. The jQuery uses a jQuery range slider plugin to generate this date slider that's at the bottom of the page, so you can go ahead and click this so you can specify different dates of when crimes occurred. And the site actually updates the map by using JavaScript when it detects any sort of user interaction. If a user clicks on one of these areas that's purple and or red, it's going to show the number and type of crimes within a mile from the point of where you clicked. And these crime bubbles were created using CSS and they're animated using jQuery. So there's a lot of different jQuery and JavaScript that's being used on this particular site. I just found it to be kind of interesting in how they harness data that already exists out there but brought it together in a visual representation and used quite a bit of JavaScript to accomplish this. This website actually has some really rich sound associated with it, but I'll turn it off while I talk. I invite you to check this website out. The URL is jacktorrancetrip.com. It's really a whole interactive film experience, and it's powered using HTML5 and JavaScript. So all of the animation, all of the movement that you see uses JavaScript and HTML5 to accomplish what they need to. This project is super complex. It uses JavaScript and jQuery for almost everything. Once you click the button, it opens in full screen. Now I've reduced it down so I can show you, but if you click these additional buttons, it opens little maps, and then they in turn open screens. There's just a lot of layering of interactivity. It's a little bit hard to demonstrate this, but I definitely would invite you to check this out because it's really a pretty inspirational and fun website. Just let me show you this last little part right here, and this has sound. I've turned the sound off right here. But here on this website we see video. The text, however, doesn't come on the page unless I move my mouse. So as I move my mouse, I'll get the additional text that's going to display on the page. And there's all kinds of fun little things that you can do on this website, so go check it out because it's pretty awesome. This actually utilizes JavaScript as well, where when I clicked to close the browser window, it asks me, hey, are you sure you want to leave the page? And the last example that I wanted to show you is this CellCycle website. You can see the URL is up here, but what it does is it lets you totally customize your jewelry that you want. So you can actually create your own sort of sculpture, and there's all these different sliders on the page that allow you to augment how this particular piece of jewelry is going to look. And you can see that there's all sorts of ways that you can modify what goes on, and it updates in real time. So I can open things up, I can merge cells, I can change the size, I can apply color to it. There's all sorts of different ways that you can modify what's happening here. You can change the dimensions of it. So it's kind of fun, and this again is just using extensive amounts of JavaScript and jQuery along with CSS and HTML5. But obviously these are kind of over-the-top examples, but hopefully they give you an idea of just some things that you can do by utilizing JavaScript. In all honesty, you're going to be pretty much hard-pressed to find almost any website out there these days that doesn't use some sort of JavaScript and or jQuery, even just for simple interactivity, when the user fills out a form, when they display multiple images on the page. There's so many different ways that you can incorporate JavaScript into your project. We unfortunately will not be creating anything quite as extensive as these examples that I just showed you, but we'll be using JavaScript to create more sorts of practical things that you could use in everyday websites. And hopefully you're inspired by some of the things that I showed you in this particular video, and that you'll search the web and find out how people are using this, and maybe even some of you will end up doing something like this in the future.